halfway done with the NFL season. We're in week 10. Really crazy. About 2 months of being playoff football, man. That's freaking insane. But you know what we do over here? We got weekly picks. We got Brett McDurphy from Go Bills podcast. Go subscribe to him. He's where you're 80. What are you at right now? Sub count. You're close to a milestone.
Close to the milestone, close to 100.
All right, let's get him to that 100 before the end of the season. And we're going to be killing it over here, of course, too. I kind of narrowed the gap. Brett's at 86 and 52, and I'm at 82 and 55. So he's starting to sweat. Now, there's a lot of games this week. Last week, it was kind of tough for spread, because we got to do 3.5. There's a lot of them this week, and it'll be interesting. But, we're going to do it as fast as we can over here. And we start off the week with an AFC North divisional matchup. Bengals headed into Baltimore. Now this is going to be insane because if the Ravens sweep the Bengals go to 6 losses. They still got to play Pittsburgh 2 more times, and the Browns, let alone the rest of the games they got to play. So the Bengals are playing with, we got to win this football game, or you can maybe kiss the season goodbye, maybe not. You might be able to make the playoffs. It's a 7 seed at 9-8, but we don't know. And the Ravens are just trying to look to keep it in the 2 seed because they got 3 losses. You're going to assume the Chiefs aren't going to lose more than 3, and they beat the Ravens already. So the Ravens are just competing for the 2 and the 3. But, man, this is a tough game. The last time they played was an incredible game. At the end of the day, I just think the Ravens got more talent. Joe Burrow's playing well. So is Lamar Jackson. Both defenses are kind of bad, as you've seen throughout the year, except when we played Baltimore. They were really good, and everyone else does good against them except for us. And the Ravens got Derrick Henry. They have a better run game, and T. Higgins will be out, so it'll be tough for Joe Burrow. So I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm in the same agreement with you. I think that last week with the Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Burrow throwing 5 touchdowns, I mean, this game could go either way, but I just feel like the Ravens' defense is better, and they can come up with a stop to get them the win, though.
Absolutely. Now we're going to Munich, Germany. The Giants are going to be playing the Panthers. The Panthers are the home team. Panthers coming off a good win. I had them as my upset of the week. I'm going to have them again as the upset of the week because they're on a roll. So, and I'm surprised that they're 4.5-point dogs to the Giants because they're both pretty bad. But I took it as an opportunity because, that's a pretty good one. And I think the Panthers are excited after that win. Bryce Young got a second win of his career. He's all hyped up. And the Giants aren't that good. So this is a fun one because I probably should pick a different one because I doubt the same team will win the upset twice in a row. But why not? I'm going with Carolina.
So, Sean, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now before we even do the shows. I don't know the picks that Sean's going to pick. He doesn't know my picks either. When I came and looked at all these picks this week, my bet for a sleeper pick and an upset of the week was the Carolina Panthers over the New York Giants.
If you want to pick them, I picked them last week, so I can pick a different one.
No, you don't. You don't have to pick a different one. I'm just saying I'm doubling down on what you're saying. I think the Carolina Panthers, I think Bryce Young has learned a lot from being on the sidelines behind Andy Dalton, and now he's going to take over the responsibilities of being the quarterback, and he'll get this team over the hump this week. I don't think he's going to do it overall, but I think he's going to have some learning curves along the way. This is going to be a week that he's going to get a win for them, and he's going to show them that he could be the quarterback in 2025 for the Carolina Panthers.
That'll be something to watch. Then you got the Niners getting Christian McCaffrey back versus the Bucks, who even without their best receivers still seem to put up points, which is surprising. Bucks are at home. I'm going with the Niners. I just got a feeling McCaffrey is such a huge difference maker in any game. And the Bucks have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. They're so banged up that they just can't even really compete with anyone as far as, defensively. So I'm going to go with the Niners here.
I'll tell you what, fantasy owners and people that had the number 1 pick in the fantasy draft, they are happy to see Christian McCaffrey back. I think it's going to be a big help for the team, and he's going to get them over the edge to be able to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. And listen, the Bucks played the Kansas City Chiefs last week very tough. taking them to overtime. I just feel like the 49ers are a Super Bowl caliber team. They're going to be able to get the ball going and get this win.
And you got the Falcons versus the Saints. That'd be nice to be in that division, huh? They already swept the Bucks, and they should be able to sweep the Saints and the Panthers. They've never swept their division before in all their years, so they have an opportunity to do so. They beat the tough team twice already, and they're 4-0 in the division. I'm assuming they played. I think they played each one time before. But yeah, the Saints, they got rid of Lattimore. They just stink. They lost 7 in a row. Yeah, it was funny because we both thought they were going to suck this year, and then they went 2-0 and looked like amazing. And I was like, well, let's see. And then haven't won a game since September. Kind of crazy. But yeah, the Falcons should easily win this game.
Yeah, you look at the Atlanta Falcons, and this is a team. I'm sorry, and the New Orleans Saints, I should say. The New Orleans Saints started off 2-0. They lost 7 straight. Fired their head coach this week. What's the status of the team going to be? They already gave up Marshawn Lattimore, pretty much giving up the season. So I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to get this win. They got a great win this week against the Dallas Cowboys, pretty much eliminating their season. I think this is going to be another week where the Saints eliminate somebody in their division and take out the Atlanta Falcons take out the Saints. So I think that's going to be the way that it rolls.
They got another AFC West division matchup. Broncos head to Kansas City. Now, Nick Wright mentioned this morning on his podcast, he thinks they're going to lose one of these games. Broncos or Bills. He said if the Broncos win, they'll beat the Bills. If the Broncos lose, the Bills will probably beat the Chiefs. So I would prefer if the Broncos lost this game and then we beat them, because I doubt the Chiefs lose 2 games in a row. So I agree with him on that. Broncos defense, they looked really good until they played Baltimore. Now, is it just because it was Baltimore having a good day, or is the defense really not as good as we thought because they played Aaron Rodgers in the rain, and a couple other bad quarterbacks, bad offenses? So they did beat Tampa Bay, but still, I guess we'll find out really how good the Broncos defense is, because if you get smacked 2 weeks in a row, then you're probably not that good. But I'm picking Kansas City until next week, and then after that, I'll pick Kansas City the rest of the season because we're got the Buffalo Bills playing them next week. But go with Kansas City.
Yeah, this is one game that I was kind of going back and forth, but when you have a rookie quarterback going up against Andy Reid, it doesn't usually work out in that situation. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to get the win, but I think it's going to be a tough game overall. Sean Payton is a wonderful coach, and he's going to get his team ready to go with a good defense, but you can't go against Patrick Mahomes and that team. They're just one of the best in the NFL, and they're going to move on to stay undefeated for another week.
Yep, definitely. And then beating the 9-0 Chiefs would definitely make people forget about how we lost a Week 4 matchup to a good team, and then we lost in Week 5, playing our worst game, and still almost won the football game. And you got our Buffalo Bills headed into Indianapolis in a nice dome stadium. Will be nice to air it out over there. Colts going with Joe Flacco. Didn't look too good last week. They just lost their all-pro center. Their left tackle missed last week. Jonathan Taylor's an elite player. What's his name? Michael Pittman's battling through a back injury. He's still all right, but you could tell he's hurt. And, I think we should have no problem beating this team. But you got to get ahead, and you can't let Jonathan Taylor do what he did to us last time we played, get 5 total touchdowns, and we couldn't keep up. This time, though, I think we could we match up pretty well against them, and we could stop Jonathan Taylor from taking over the game. I think we win this football game.
I'm in agreement with you. I feel like we're going to win this game. It's going to suck not having Keon Coleman out there, but I think that Amari Cooper and Christian Benford will both be back. That's what gets us over the hump there, having a Pro Bowl wide receiver. But we'll definitely have a game that's going to be easy, and then we have to go and play the Kansas City Chiefs next week. See if we can get it done.
Definitely. And you got a pretty good matchup here. You got the Steelers playing the Commanders. Really tough to decide, but when it really came down to it, the Steelers defense is, I'd probably say they're one of the top 3 And you saw the Commanders when they played the Bears, who probably have a top 5 offense. They really didn't do anything. And they took a lucky Hail Mary play. And again, it's great that you did it. I'd be hyped up if that was my team too. But if you have to take that to win, the only skill it has involved is just throwing the football as far as you can. Then the rest of it's luck. You got no pat. You got one guy rushing at you, and you just got to buy time and throw the football as far as you can. So if you need that to beat a team, I don't really think that it means you could really play against good defenses. And I think Chicago was one of the best ones they played against, and they kind of kept them quiet on offense. Commanders are still really good. They're probably going to be, between the 2 or the 3 seed in the NFC. But I think the Steelers' defensive line is too good, and offensively they're doing all right so far. We'll see if they quiet down a little bit, but their defense is still top tier. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
Yeah, you look at what the Steelers did this week. They added Michael Williams from the Jets. I feel like that's going to be a very good fit for them, especially with that jump ball type situation there. You already have George Pickens with them. This is a really good team that's getting better with some more offense behind Russell Wilson. Now it's going to just take a couple of other pieces getting back to normal and stepping up. Maybe Najee Harris will step up. Give me the Steelers over the Commanders, but I feel like this is going to be a very tough game going back and forth. The Commanders can put up a lot of points with Jaden Daniels, but don't be surprised if the Commanders win this one.
Absolutely. Then you got the Vikings going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 2-7. They lost a couple of their good players to injury. They just don't look good. They traded away their starting left tackle to Minnesota. So he'll be back in Jacksonville. The Vikings, they bounce back. They look pretty good. Vikings should walk away with this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on this one. The Vikings defense is very good this year. And you look at what Trevor Lawrence has done so far this year, not very good numbers. And it's a team that's already pretty sure they're going to be missing Travis Etienne, if I remember correctly.
Maybe.
I might be wrong in this situation, but I know there's some rumors that Travis Etienne might be traded. Didn't happen, but we'll see what happens here.
And you got the Patriots going to Chicago. Patriots had a fight against the Titans. Didn't quite finish the job. Drake May's been looking pretty good, man. So they're way ahead of the rebuild because they got their quarterback. Now they're going to get a top 5 pick. They can get a tackle or a left or right tackle because their whole line sucks. And then they can really start the rebuild process and be a little bit more competitive next year. But the Bears looking to bounce back. They lost a couple in a row. Obviously, they lost that heartbreaker. Then they got blown out by the Cardinals. And so now the Cardinals turned into a good quality win for us because now they're 5-4. But I got the Bears bouncing back and winning this one.
Yeah, the Bears have lost a couple of heartbreakers over the last 2 weeks. This is a game where I feel like Caleb Williams needs to step up in this one, take control of the offense and put some points on the board. Going up against a team that's a little bit depleted. They don't have a lot of talent there, and they can't put up a lot of points. Let's see if the Bears defense can take advantage of this situation against a rookie quarterback. Even though they're playing with a rookie quarterback, let's see if one can showcase that he deserved the number 1 pick and that he can take out the other one. Give me the Bears to win this one, though.
And then you got the Titans against the Chargers. The Chargers are finally looking like the team that Mike's been saying they were for the past 3 years, where they're actually good compared to what their roster says. However, I will say they do have a really favorable schedule. I think they were in 3rd or 4th place last year, so they have a pretty easy schedule. But they're kind of doing what we're doing. Their defense is a lot better than ours, but Justin Herbert's been very efficient, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, and they're running the ball well. So they're doing a good job. They're kind of like a not as good offensive version of us, but I think they'll be 6-3, and they'll be one of those for sure. They'll probably be the 6th seed in the playoffs, and we'll probably end up having to play them.
Yeah, you look at the Chargers, and last week J.K. Dobbins had a great game. You look at Justin Herbert as well. This is a team that's well-rounded with some really good defensive players. You have Joey Bosa there as well. This is definitely a game where you look at the Titans. They don't have a lot of talent on their roster, But listen, I've seen games where this could be a trap game. I'm not saying it will be, but this could be a trap game. Give me the Chargers to win this one. But listen, upset alert in the NFL any given Sunday. Any team can beat anybody. This is a week where you could see a big time upset in the Tennessee Titans over the Chargers.
You got Eagles going to Dallas. Dallas lost Dak Prescott for a few weeks. They're 3-5. They can't run the football. Something I wasn't expecting this year from Dallas. Struggling so bad, disappointing. But I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles here. They're more complete right now. They're more healthy, and I think they'll be able to win this football game.
You look at the Cowboys, and they made a trade this week with Jonathan Mingo coming over from the Carolina Panthers. They are a team that is completely focused on 2025. Even though they gave up a fourth-round pick, this is a team that I think they're done. I think they're frauds. I was disappointed in how they have been this year. I think the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFC. They have a really good running game with Saquon Barkley, who hurdled a guy last week and went for 199 yards. So you have Jalen Hurts as well, and they're going to ascend against a team that's depleted. Missing Trayvon Diggs as well is only going to hurt them. So give me the Eagles over the Cowboys this week.
Then you got the Jets playing the Cardinals. The Jets are looking to try to salvage their season. I knew once they won that game, the whole talk was going to be, can we go on a run? Are the Jets back? No, you're not. You won one game against a team that was battered and bruised, and you took advantage of it. And you still didn't look good for the whole first half. You looked like one of the worst teams in the league. But they ended up winning against a good team on paper. So they got to play another good team on paper. They're going to Arizona. Let's see if they can compound more than one win and become 4-6. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think they're on a hot streak. This is the first time they won 3 games in a row since like 2021, and they're playing well on all sides of the football. And they still don't even have their first round pick back yet. Kyler's looking good.
So for me, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to go with the Jets. I feel like they are a team that's just kind of slugging it out, figuring it out. And this is a week where they need to come together and get their season back under control. You look at Devontae Adams being there and trading away Mike Williams. That opens the door for some of the other players on their team, Garrett Wilson as well. They don't have to look over their shoulder and have Mike Williams there. I feel like even though the Cardinals are a team that's won a few games, the Jets are a team that's going to start winning some games, and they're going to go on a little bit of a streak, make it competitive in the AFC East. So give me the Jets over the Cardinals this week.
You got Lions going into Houston. Again, Lions look like one of the best teams. Houston's reeling and has a crappy O-line. Stroud can't seem to get nothing going. Even when he had all of his weapons with him, all 3 of them, he still couldn't. 3 wide receivers. He still has Dalton Schultz and Joe Mixon to get the ball to, and Tank Dell. But without Nico Collins, Diggs, he's struggling, and Joe Mixon has to carry the team. So I'm gonna go with the Lions. They're just too hot right now.
Yeah, the Lions are playing some really good ball right now, and I feel like with all the additions that they have with Zadarius Smith coming over to them, they're going to be even better, and they've proven that they're going to be a Super Bowl caliber team. They're not going to let down whatsoever. So give me the Lions over the Texans this week. I feel like if the Texans were at full strength, this game could be totally different. This could be a game that's going back and forth with a lot of points on the board. But the Texans are not at full strength, to be honest with you. And I feel like the Lions are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah. So did you pick the Panthers for your upset?
I did.
Okay. I'll pick a different one. I don't want us to pick the same one. So I'm going to change it to I think the Giants will win. And then maybe I'll pick the Bucks because the Bucks are dogs. I still think the Niners are a better team, but maybe the Bucks will surprise us because they play pretty well against Kansas City.
I thought you were going to take the Titans over the Chargers.
No, that'd be a good one, but I don't know. I thought about the Bucks first, like originally. I was between them and Carolina, but we'll see. Now it's a little bit more interesting, and I do think the Panthers will still win, but I'm just trying to be different, and we'll see. I don't think the Giants have a good team at all. Then you got the last game of the week. You got the Dolphins, who are technically not out of it at 2-6. They're in the same position the Jets were in when they were 2-6. They're playing a good Rams team who was 1-4, going through a lot of injuries. Now they're 4-4 in LA. They looked pretty good last week. They won an overtime game against a division rival. And then the Dolphins lost the game to us when they played one of their best football games. Now, could that spark something? They played 2 really good games in a row and lost both of them. I don't know. I still think I can't pick the Dolphins until they start winning. It's tough, but I'm going to go with the Rams here. They're going to stay hot.
Yeah, this is one of those games I go back and forth on so much. I feel like Tua Tagovailoa, he's played very well against the Buffalo Bills last week. And then on the other hand, the LA Rams, they have a lot of talent there with the Cooper Kupp, and you have Puka Nacua there as well. I feel like this is a game that's kind of trending towards the Dolphins trying to save their season and stay in the division. But I'm kind of going back and forth. My heart says the Rams, but my gut says that the Dolphins are going to win it. I'm going to take the Dolphins to beat the Rams. It's going to be close, but I feel like the Dolphins are going to be able to pull it off. There's going to be a moment in time where the Dolphins come together and try and get some wins. Tua needs to step up a little bit more this week, and he's going to do it to defeat the Rams in a big, crucial game for them, and this is going to keep their season alive and their playoff hopes alive.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I got to see them actually win first, but it should be a good game. And I think our game last week should have been a blowout too. But
Yeah.
I think the Rams also have better separators as far as ball catchers go. And even when we couldn't separate, we still scored 30 points and had a couple touchdowns wiped off. But I think offensively, the Rams should be good. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins win. But all right, that wraps it up this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you next time. Go Bills. And subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Go Bills Podcast. And let's get them to 100. Have a good one.
Go Bills.